Hello, my name is Navigator, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified Cobra Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger and Driver. And I have a feeling this video is going to be pretty long. I'm in a good mood, so let's keep it that way, and let's just get right into this. So again, we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified Cobra Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger and Driver. What I've done is I've taken everything out of the box, but I haven't really put anything together yet. I have all the parts laid out here. I'm going to take some of the stuff off out of here, remove the box so we have some more space, and then we'll get into it. So let's start with that. I'm going to try to carefully swap that and bring all those down there. Awesome. All right, sweet. So quick look at the box. Some really cool art on the front of what we're going to be in for. There was a little window here for the driver. And then on the back, we just have a bunch of detailed pictures and whatnot. So there we go. We do have that. And then starting off, we do have this little direction packet. This might come in handy, so I'm going to keep that off to the side. We also have the missiles here. So I'm going to show these off now and from to the side. But these are going to be the missiles that will attach to the back of the car with like the surface-to-air type thing. I don't know if they come apart, but there you go. There's a good look at it. So we do have that, and I'll toss those to the side. Take a look at those in a little bit. And then in here was just the little box. I don't really think I had anything left in there. Yeah, this was the box that the kind of like blast and explosion effects came with. So we do have that, and I'm missing one thing, that being the wheels. So let's start with these. These came pretty separate, and it was actually really easy to unbox. With a lot of these bigger play sets and stuff, a lot of wires and tape, this was super, super easy to unbox. So let's do this. Oh, very cool. You can actually pop that down. That's really sweet. We can actually probably just plug these right in, almost like Legos on the side. Yep. And there's a little bit of, off-roading, so some suspension there. So if you want to mess around with this, you really could. Kind of like the older G.I. Joe stuff. So we'll pop these wheels in if we can. And then we'll get a sense of really how large this thing is. So there we go. And like I said, you can kind of bounce that around a little bit. And we're going to take a look at him in just a second. But if you were curious about scale, there is the driver just next to the car there. So it's pretty perfect. All right, so taking a look at him, starting at the bottom, just some normal black boots, some tactical stuff. It's a military figure. There's a lot going on here. I don't really even know how to describe it. Double jointed legs, though, of course. He's got a little holster there for the blade. Some pockets in the back for some of his extra accessories, including a holster for his pistol. A really cool rig here. I'm liking the kind of gray Cobra armor or tactical suit, jumpsuit, whatever you want to call it, that he has going on. A nice tactical vest there as well. And then finally here, look at the head sculpt, which is very, very cool. Very similar to one of like the other, I think it was the Tiger Force Cobra guy that I got, but still very cool. So we do have that. Some of the accessories that he comes with, he does have this larger kind of Cobra helmet that'll pop right onto his head, and that looks great. On the back here, we can also plug in this little sling for his smaller submachine gun here, and we'll take a look at this. We've seen it before, but still really cool with kind of that Sten-styled side magazine. Wow, try saying that 10 times fast. Sten-styled side magazine. Typically, this is the holster for that, but for some reason it's not fitting in there. But we do have that, and I'll pop that off, throw him down. And he also comes with this really cool like red knife, or at least red hilted knife. And that looks really cool, very Raphael reminiscent. Not these, but very cool kind of like AKM styled rifle, which is really cool. Love that. And then we also have this kind of like laser Luger almost, or Mauser, I should say, and that is really cool. I do like that a lot. Awesome. So that's the figure. Some of the other smaller accessories that came with him, but are honestly for the vehicle. We have this little fire extinguisher here, an entrenchment tool or a little shovel. And then everything else is pretty much just parts that we're going to be snapping onto this car. So we got the wheels on there. Let's see what's next. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at these clips on the side, and I have a feeling this is the roof panel. And given the fact that there are some lights there on the front, I think we can probably just clip that in right on top there, and beautiful. So that looks awesome. We have this piece here, and I'm guessing this is going to be a bumper of some fashion, and considering that there are pegs on there for a figure to stand, this is probably going to go at the back of the vehicle. So let's see if that's the case. Oh, it actually might be a little bit easier than I thought. Let's find out. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how the heck this is going to work. I might have to grab those instructions. Ooh, maybe it's something like that. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Okay. That works. So you're pretty much just kind of snapping this black thing over the hooks on there, and it doesn't really move too much or anything. I'm putting some pressure on it, so you could probably hold the figure on there. That would look pretty sweet, so that's awesome. So that black piece goes in the back. This one I'm going to try now because I have a feeling this is going to be a little difficult. And considering the prongs, yeah, this has got to be the surface-to-air missile system. So there's a little hole in the bottom there. And I think that's meant to go right there. So we're just going to plug that right on. And, oh, really? Oh, okay, this is nice. So as opposed to snapping in there, you can put that on, but you can also take it off with not a lot of pressure either. So if you wanted to remove the missile system, which honestly I probably will, and throw some figures there instead, you got a nice place for it. But just for now, we will throw that back on. And since we have that equipped, why don't we grab those missiles that we had? We'll throw those on. They have a very interesting system on the bottom there. So let's see how that... Oh, actually. 2 circular pegs on the missiles, 2 circular pegs on the surface-to-air, I don't know, facilitator, whatever you'd call this kind of machinery. So we're just plopping these on. Awesome. And that is really cool looking. That is sweet. So you can see those missiles are kind of... You can have it aiming down, aiming up. You can move it around, yada, yada. Again, I probably won't have that equipped. I think it looks a little too corny, having that massive amount of missiles in the back of a truck, or an off-roading vehicle, I guess you could say. But hey, who am I? Who am I? All right, what else do we have here? What other pieces do we have? All right, so this looks almost like a cow catcher of some sense. I'm assuming it's going to go on the front. Now it's getting a little back heavy. So let's see. There's some clips there. I'm wondering, where would this go? Oh, would it go on there? Here, you know what? This one, you might have to reference the directions. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, so that goes right under that front bar there. So let's see if we can make that happen. It looks like it should be able to fit right on there. Oh, like that. There we go. All right. Well, it's still... I'm having trouble getting that on there. Is that... Are you going to work? Like what? Nope. Did I get it? Every time I push it onto one side, it falls off the other. But I think that's the way you're supposed to have it, where it's kind of angled out almost. So there you go. That looks really cool. Very ferocious. And then another interesting feature with this, actually, let's take a break real quick and go over some of the cool features on here. So you've got some snap hooks on the front. If you want to do something, I'm just going to take these off for now. You got some snap hooks on the front if you want to attach something there. There's a little bit of a ram bar, but there is a working trailer hook there, and that is really cool. And you can actually spin that back in there fairly easily if you needed to. So that is really cool. Nice little wrench on there. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you can. So if I pull this up, you can take a look at the engine as well. And that's kind of the thing with, like, you know, getting one of these for 25 bucks or whatever. You could have that open, kind of have like the... We're going to take a look at it in a second, but maybe have something like this on there where the thing's like exploding or whatever. That would be really cool, but awesome look at the engine block. There's some attachments up here. I think that's going to be for like the entrenchment tool and whatnot. We also have some side mirrors here that actually reflect. That is so cool. Look, you can see the lens of my camera or my iPad right there. That is a really cool feature. Wow. That is awesome. You can see the reflection in there. That's super sweet. All right. The door, oh, actually, this, like we saw, that flips down. You can actually see, well, I don't know if you can see through it, but I guess, theoretically. The doors also pop open, butterfly style, too, which is really, really cool. I love that a lot. Oh, move my camera there. But that's going to be the same on the other side, of course, so that'll pop open too. And a quick look at the interior. We saw a decent... Here, I'll give you a better look. On the back of the box, it'll kind of show you what's in there. But, and we you know, I just saw the stickers in there. There's like a nice little control panel with a bunch of stickers. It looks really nice. Like I said, we're going to have to throw some of that stuff up there. But inside the car is very, very cool. Little step-ups on the side there, which is really nice. I like that a lot. You can have figures posed there. And then on the back, like we saw... There's a little, you know, kind of roll bar. I don't know what you would call it in the back. Some very interesting kind of light molds on there. And then like we saw, we have the surface-to-air missile there. So those are all the features. There's a little bar on the back if you wanted to attach something there. And then on the bottom, nothing too crazy going on. So this is really cool. All right, let's keep building it. I'm going to throw this back on if I can. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, and then like we just saw in that picture, this part right here is going to attach onto this, and you're just going to line up these holes on the bottom with the holes on the top there. We can probably just press that right in. Right? Is it looking okay? Yeah. Looks good to me. Pretty sweet. And then we have that entrenchment tool, so we'll take this and we'll snap it in right there, and that it's a little loose, but it holds in there, which is the good thing. And then we have the little fire extinguisher here. This I'm curious about. I don't necessarily know where that's going to go. Let's see about the instructions, maybe. Nope, nothing on the instructions. Maybe he just kind of like carries it in there. But I feel like you see this that little nudge right there? Let's look inside. Maybe there's something going on inside. Is a little oh, yes, there is. Right in there. You see that right there? That's where she's going. So we can actually plug it in via the back here. See if I can get it on camera. And you can just snap it right in there. And there you go. And it's displayed right there on the back. Got to keep, if you're driving a vehicle, you got to be safe, man. What can you say? All right, so that is the Stinger itself. We already take a look at the figure. What I'm going to do now is go over some of these explosion effects for the missiles. So we have this kind of longer one for the missile shooting out, and I'm assuming you probably just plug that right into the back here. A shorter one, which is pretty sweet. And these are kind of universal. You could use these effects for really anything. We have these two. One is slightly shorter than the other, but kind of just like these explosion ground effects or blasts. That is really, really cool. And then we have this one as well. I'm assuming this is going to be like this one, maybe for like the car speeding away or something. But those just look super cool. And if I put them down, you guys will be able to see some nice effects there. Oh, I apologize. Here, I'll bring it out a little bit. There you go. Sorry, I knocked the camera earlier in the video, and I think it kind of ruined my whole display. But hopefully you guys got the full picture of the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger and Driver. I cannot believe that I got this for $50, and fingers crossed that I get another one for $25. That would be a dream. Folks, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, that's really it. As always, folks, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.